You are of the earth, not separate, but woven into her rhythm. Your body remembers, your spirit knows, and your becoming is sacred.
This is Of the Earth, a space for the woman who is returning to her body, returning to her truth, returning to the wild, soft, and cyclical nature within. Here we explore the feminine through embodiment, nature's wisdom, sacred archetypes, and the reclamation of self-love as a spiritual path. I am your host, Emma, feminine embodiment coach, space holder, and nature woven guide. May this be a space where you feel seen in your softness, your wildness, witnessed in your transformation, and supported as you root deeper into the rhythm of who you truly are. Welcome home. Welcome to Of the Earth.
Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the first ever episode of the podcast of the Earth. I invite you in with open arms, and I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. Today, I wanted to just let you know what this new rebirth of the podcast is all about. I wanted today to be about my story with the earth, how my relationship to earth has been, why I'm pivoting the podcast and leaning more to matters of the earth instead of only authenticity. And I think they're linked, both of them. Authenticity and the earth, and living as a cyclical being, living with nature instead of against nature. My story with the earth started as a little girl. My dad, he has always been a nature fanatic, and we used to have a cabin up in the mountains in Norway. On the other side, I also had a cabin in Sweden. A little, like red, I still have that cabin, but a little red, little cabin, stuga, that's what it's called in Swedish, in the, on farmland. So it was two kind of contradicting types of nature. And for me, they kind of represent the feminine and the masculine. So feminine was Stugan, and then the masculine was the mountains. As I grew up, I loved being in nature. I have vivid memories of being in my grandma's garden and picking flowers and herbs and helping her out harvesting vegetables. And I even look at pictures of myself from when I was younger, when we went on trips up in the mountains with my dad. I was so happy. You could see I was beaming with light. And as I grew older, I started resenting being in nature because it felt forced almost. It felt like I had to go on a walk. I still loved going to Sweden and being and being and really just relaxing into nature and not always have to like focus on I need to go somewhere. And that's a very Norwegian mentality. It's a very like we're going on a trip. Vi ska på tur. You have a point where you're going to, and then you walk, maybe have one or two pit stops, more when you're little, of course, because you can't walk that far without getting tired. But as you grow older, it's like, yeah, you can go longer, you can go faster, you can go with fewer stops. And for me, I lost that passion. I lost that but love for nature because it felt like something I had to do. So instead of being in nature, instead of softening and tuning into my feminine essence, it felt like my masculine drive was like up there and I was like, yeah, let's fucking go, you know? And I don't know if you relate to this, but um, I think just in general in life, we force ourselves to do so many things. We cram our lives with so much that we forget to be. We forget to slow down. We forget to tune into our feminine essence. So I moved to New York when I was 19, right out of high school. And I needed to get away from Oslo because I didn't feel like all of me could be here. And I thought New York, okay, this is like so big and expansive, and I wanted to study fashion design, so I thought New York is the best place to study fashion, right? So I moved to New York, and I got so burnt out. I got so freaking burnt out. I worked myself to the ground, and I was really, really missing being in nature. And I felt this like void within me of there's something missing in my life. I was living among brick buildings and pavement and man-made parks. And when I felt the most alive was when I was in these parks. And even then, there was a disconnect. The summer of 2022. I have a video of myself in May being like, I'm starting my collection, I'm doing all these things, I get the summer to think about it. And slowly but surely, being in nature, being in these parks in New York, I started to actually listen to my body. I was so tired. I was completely dissociated and used weed and alcohol and distracted myself with TV and junk food and was just so disconnected from my truth. And I had this revelation a few weeks ago that I went to visit Sweden that summer in 2022. And my body just softened. Sweden has always been my safe space. It's always been the place where I feel the most me in a way. My stuga. Not all of Sweden. Also, if you hear voices, um, there are people around. So I went to visit Sweden, um, and I can add in some videos here of me just like fully letting letting myself relax. And I hadn't been able to relax for years, even before I moved to New York. I was always so pent up. And it's also like my inner child really felt seen. When we're in nature, when we are playing, when we are just like doing whatever the fuck that feels good, our inner child also has a space to be seen. And since I grew up there, since I had I have no bad memories from that place. Zero bad memories. So I realized that like I needed to go back home. I needed to to slow down again. And I had no idea what was going to happen to me if I kept going, if I didn't move back home and if I stayed in New York to finish my last year of college. So I dropped out. I felt really ashamed about it, but now I really don't. I know that that was the best decision that I could have ever done. Um, Putting myself first, putting my health, my mental health first. And I started my journey of coaching and all of these things, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't moved back home. But as time went on, I met my then partner in 2023, who really helped me see nature in a new light. He really helped me to be in nature. He's an Aries, he's very feisty, and he loves to go very far. He's a slow generator. And he was a nature fanatic. So his way of being in nature was going on trips and hiking very far and doing these extreme sports, which as a projector, as a very like feminine, um, slow living being, I'm very grateful that he helped me get into nature, but I lost myself in that relationship. I found a lot of the like that missing nature piece, but I also lost myself in that relationship. So I broke it off, and one of the hardest things that I've ever done, hurting another person like that. But the year after that, in 2024, I had my own nature reclamation. I wanted to find my own relationship with nature. And ever since that, I have been redefining what being in nature is to me and really understood that nature is who we are. Nature, at its core, everything around us, like we come from nature. And if you look at images of nature next to images of the human body, you can tell like our veins, our rivers, the blood in our veins, our sexuality, and our emotions, our tears, our water. We are 70% water. We our flesh, our bones, our earth, our energy, our heart pumping. That's fire. And we breathe air. And it's so incredible once you start connecting to nature and once you start actually living in tune with our cycles, with our menstrual cycle, with the moon cycle, with the seasons. Because we are meant to be in alignment with nature. We are meant to live with nature and to be of nature, to be of the earth. We're not meant to be stuck inside in within these four walls, keeping us small and confined to these structures that have been created to keep us small. And once we start embracing our fullest nature, once we start expressing the wild women inside of us, everything changes. That is why I've decided to rebrand this podcast and to let it take on its own life, to share more about the teachings of nature and to share more about how we can live more in tune with the women that we are. We have been so disconnected from our womb. We have been so disconnected from our monthly bleed. I used to be on birth control and I was completely cut off from my emotions. I was numb. And I want to help you to reconnect back to your body, to reconnect back to the women that you came here to be. Like, we didn't come here to be small and to hold back and to fit in. We came here to stand out. We came here to become all of who we truly came here to be. So I invite you to come along on this journey with me. I will be having guests on. I will be sharing things from my own life. I will be sharing wisdom from the elements, from the earth. And I'm so excited to bring you along on this next chapter. I got a very exciting offering coming up very soon. If you are interested, there is, if you liked what I talked about today, if something inside of you feels pulled towards living in alignment with Earth, I have a wait list that you can sign up for my new offering that's coming out very soon. It will be in alignment with this, and I just know that for the right women out there who's ready to fully come back to their truth, to their bodies, through their essence, through taking charge over their own life and not letting the confines of society keep you small and keep you the way that they want to see you, because that is the easiest way to control someone, is to keep them small, to tell them that they're not good enough, to tell them that they're too much or not enough or just wrong for being themselves. So if you're ready to fully become all of who you came here to be, then sign up for the waitlist. I promise you, you will not regret it. And there might be a little goodie for you if you sign up for the waitlist. A little discount, for the offering. It feels so good to be here with you. I also have an offering, an in-person event that's happening in Oslo on July 6th. We are being in nature. We are painting our bodies with affirmations, with art. We are dancing, singing, connecting to our wild woman, and I would love to have you. I will leave the link in the show notes. Life is good. Life gets to be good. And this is your sign to go out in nature, to start reconnecting to that part of you again. And be open. Be open for guidance. Be open for all the knowledge that she has to bring. I love you so, so much. and I will see you in the next episode.